The wrestling world just experienced an earthquake that nobody saw coming, and what Roman Reigns did last night on live television has left millions of fans absolutely speechless. The tribal chief stood in the center of that ring with a microphone in hand and did something that will forever change the landscape of professional wrestling as we know it. He pulled back the curtain on one of the biggest mysteries in recent history and revealed the identity of the newest member of the Shield. Before we dive into this bombshell moment and everything that led up to it, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss a single update on this developing story. The tension had been building for weeks. Ever since the bloodline started showing cracks in their seemingly impenetrable armor, fans began speculating about what Roman Reigns had planned. The whispers started backstage. The rumors spread across social media like wildfire. Something big was coming and everyone could feel it in the air. The original tribal chief had been dropping cryptic hints during his promos about family, about loyalty, and about bringing back something that once made him unstoppable. People thought he was talking about reuniting with the Usos or perhaps mending fences with his cousins. Nobody could have predicted what actually happened. Roman Reigns has always been a master manipulator. He knows how to control a narrative better than anyone in the business today. For months he had everyone looking in one direction while he orchestrated something entirely different behind the scenes. The genius of his plan was in its simplicity. He let everyone believe they had figured out his next move. He let the internet detectives think they had cracked the code. He allowed the speculation to run wild because he knew that the truth would hit even harder when it finally came to light. The show opened like any other night. Fans filled the arena with their usual energy and excitement. The commentary team was hyping up the main event segment where Roman Reigns had promised a major announcement. Social media was already buzzing with predictions and theories. Some people thought he was going to announce a new championship match. Others believed he might be addressing his ongoing issues with Solo Sikoa and the new bloodline. A few fans even suggested he might be retiring, though that seemed unlikely given his current dominance. Everyone had an opinion but nobody had the facts. When Roman's music hit, the arena erupted. Love him or hate him, there's no denying the presence that man brings to any building. He walked down that ramp with the confidence of someone who knows he's about to drop the biggest news of the year. The tribal chief took his time entering the ring. He soaked in the reaction from the crowd. He adjusted his gloves with that calculated precision that has become his trademark. Then he picked up the microphone and the entire arena fell silent. Thousands of people collectively held their breath waiting to hear what the tribal chief had to say. Roman started speaking about legacy. He talked about how the Shield changed everything when they first arrived. 3 young warriors who crashed through the system and took over the entire industry. They dominated everyone in their path. They held all the gold. They became the most feared unit in wrestling history. But as with all great things, the Shield eventually broke apart. Each member went on to achieve incredible success on their own. Roman became the tribal chief. Seth became a Grand Slam champion. Dean became a legend in his own right. Yet something was always missing. That brotherhood. That unity. That unstoppable force that made them legends in the first place. The crowd was hanging on every word. Roman explained that being the tribal chief meant making hard decisions. It meant recognizing when change was necessary. It meant understanding that sometimes you need to go back to your roots to move forward. He talked about how the bloodline had served its purpose but that chapter was closing. A new era was beginning. An era that would see the return of something even more powerful. The Shield was coming back but not in the way anyone expected. This wasn't going to be a simple reunion tour. This was going to be an evolution. Then came the moment that broke the internet. Roman Reigns looked directly into the camera and said he had found the perfect person to carry the Shield into the future. Someone who embodied everything the Shield stood for. Someone who had the talent, the drive, and the hunger to stand beside him as they conquered new territory. The anticipation in that building was suffocating. Fans were literally on their feet trying to guess who it could be. Names were being shouted from the crowd. People were recording on their phones. This was history in the making. Roman called for the newest Shield member to come out and the entrance ramp lit up. The familiar sound of the Shield's music began to play, but there was something different about it. A modern remix that honored the past while signaling something new. Smoke filled the entrance area, creating an atmosphere of mystery and intrigue. Everyone in that arena was straining to see who would emerge through that curtain. The seconds felt like hours. Then a figure appeared through the smoke and the reaction was absolutely nuclear. Walking down that ramp with purpose and intensity was someone that very few people had on their radar. The newest member of the Shield wasn't a returning veteran or a surprise debut from another company. It was someone who had been right under everyone's noses the entire time. A young superstar who had been quietly putting in work and proving themselves week after week. Someone who Roman had clearly been watching and evaluating for this exact moment. The reveal sent shockwaves through the wrestling community because it was both unexpected and absolutely brilliant. The new Shield member entered the ring and stood face to face with Roman Reigns. The visual alone was powerful. 2 warriors acknowledging each other with respect and understanding. Roman handed them the iconic Shield vest, and the symbolism was not lost on anyone watching. This wasn't just about forming a new team. This was about passing on a legacy. This was about ensuring that the Shield's dominance would continue for another generation. The tribal chief was cementing his position at the top of the mountain while simultaneously creating something that would outlast even his own incredible run. Roman took the microphone again and explained his choice. He talked about watching this superstar develop and evolve. He mentioned specific matches and moments where they had proven themselves worthy. He detailed how they possessed the same hunger and intensity that the Shield had when they first broke onto the scene. This wasn't a decision made lightly or in haste. This was the result of careful observation and strategic planning. Roman Reigns doesn't make mistakes, and this selection proved once again why he's the head of the table. The implications of this reveal are absolutely massive. The entire landscape of professional wrestling just shifted on its axis. Every championship is now in danger. Every rivalry just became more complicated. Every superstar in the locker room has to recalculate their position and their strategy. The Shield was already the most dominant faction in history when it was 3 men. Now, with Roman Reigns as the tribal chief at the helm and this incredible new talent by his side, there's no telling what destruction they might cause. The possibilities are endless and terrifying for anyone who stands in their way. Social media exploded within seconds of the reveal. Twitter was flooded with reactions ranging from shock to excitement to disbelief. Wrestling journalists were scrambling to get statements from people backstage. Former Shield members were being asked for their opinions. Wrestling legends were weighing in on what this means for the future. The consensus was universal. This changes everything. Roman Reigns just made a move that nobody saw coming, and in doing so proved once again why he's the smartest man in professional wrestling. He didn't just create a new team. He created a legacy that will dominate for years to come. The new Shield member grabbed a microphone and addressed the crowd for the first time. They spoke about what it means to be chosen for this honor. They acknowledged the weight of the legacy they were inheriting. They made it clear that this wasn't about living in the shadow of the original Shield but about creating something even greater. They talked about respect for those who came before while promising to forge their own path. The confidence in their voice matched the fire in their eyes. This wasn't someone playing pretend. This was someone ready to go to war and prove they belonged in this position. Roman and the new member stood side by side in that ring, and the image will be replayed for decades to come. 2 warriors united by a common goal. 2 champions ready to dominate anyone who challenges them. The Shield was always about brotherhood and loyalty. It was about standing together against the world. That spirit hasn't changed, but the execution has evolved. Roman Reigns learned from his years as tribal chief. He learned about power and control. He learned about strategy and patience. Now he's combining all those lessons with the raw aggression and unity that made the Shield legendary in the first place. The ramifications for current storylines are going to be fascinating to watch unfold. How will the current bloodline react to this news? What does this mean for Roman's ongoing feuds? How will the champions across all divisions prepare for this new threat? Every single person in the company just had their plans disrupted. The writers are probably scrambling to adjust storylines. The bookers are figuring out how to build around this new dynamic. Roman Reigns just gave creative enough material to work with for the next 2 years minimum. This is the kind of move that defines eras in professional wrestling. Looking at the bigger picture, this reveal represents something even more significant than just a new team formation. It shows that Roman Reigns understands the business better than almost anyone in history. He knows that legends are built through moments like this. He knows that the audience craves surprises that feel earned and logical. He knows that bringing back the Shield name isn't enough. You have to do it in a way that respects the past while promising an even more exciting future. By choosing someone unexpected yet deserving, Roman threaded that needle perfectly. He gave fans nostalgia and innovation at the same time. The wrestling world is going to be talking about this moment for months and probably years. Message boards will debate whether this was the right move. Podcasts will analyze every aspect of the decision. Fans will argue about how this new Shield compares to the original. That's exactly what Roman wants. He wants the conversation to revolve around him. He wants everyone paying attention to his every move. He wants to be the center of the wrestling universe, and with this reveal he absolutely guaranteed that position. Nobody is talking about anything else right now. Every other story in wrestling has been temporarily pushed aside because this news is too big to ignore. The execution of the entire segment was flawless. From the pacing of Roman's promo to the dramatic reveal to the final image of unity in the ring, everything was perfectly calculated for maximum impact. This is why Roman Reigns is special. He doesn't just show up and go through the motions. Every appearance is an event. Every promo is significant. Every decision he makes becomes a talking point across the entire industry. The man is a master of his craft, and last night he delivered a masterclass in how to create a moment that transcends the weekly television show and becomes part of wrestling history. The future is now wide open with possibilities. Where does this new Shield go from here? Who will be their first targets? Will they pursue championship gold immediately or focus on destroying everyone in their path first? How long will this partnership last before inevitable tensions arise? These are the questions that will keep fans engaged and invested for the foreseeable future. Roman Reigns just created countless potential storylines with one single reveal. That's the mark of truly brilliant booking and execution. As the show went off the air with Roman and the new Shield member standing tall in the ring, one thing was crystal clear. The wrestling world just entered a new era. The age of the Shield has returned, but in a form nobody predicted. Roman Reigns proved once again that he's always 3 steps ahead of everyone else. He saw an opportunity to create something special and he seized it with both hands. The tribal chief has found his ultimate weapon and together they're going to reshape the entire landscape of professional wrestling. Every champion should be worried. Every contender should be nervous. The Shield is back and they're hungrier than ever. If you made it this far, then you know just how monumental this moment truly is for wrestling. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on every twist and turn as this story continues to develop, because something tells me we've only seen the beginning of what Roman Reigns has planned. The tribal chief just made his move and the entire wrestling world is going to feel the impact for years to come.